appreciate
good
you
offer,
looking on
good
the bright
entry,
side of
good
things.
closer. How can you not be hopeful?
I wish I was a closer. Anyway. Smooya. Nice lead with the flashes to assist. It seems like it's all green for the opening round in this best of 3. Couple of pistols run into the site, but it's Smooya doing all the dirty work with the hat trick already acquired and alternate attacks. Pistols hopes pretty much shut out. Doesn't seem like we'll be discussing this one for a very long time.
Give them a little bit of a false sense of security as to what's going on.
I
But
love
look at this,
that.
they're 3 a day.
I want to talk about that in a moment, but for now, we got to see what this defensive utility looks like. One smoke completely uproots their exec. So, well orchestrated in the response for alternate attacks. Keeps them stuck in, well, attempting this exec. Get what seems to be a lost cause. Good trade, but now the rotations are sprinting through. Now, even though it's a 4-on-4, utility is running out, and time is running thin, too. Everybody's here except for one for the alternate attacks defense, and these kills just aren't yet really coming in.
This flashbang from keoz is really going to be the determining factor, I think, for the remainder of the round and how they play it out. They're a man up, but getting into a fight is going to be the most important.
Wow.
They're sprinting over to A, and keoz sent that flashbang over from the rotate from mid, but in red, it's Perk still here, and he's going to be able to line up a pair, but Hype now needs to clutch.
It's no longer a round that was done and dusted. Into the breach, this should have been theirs from the get-go after they started to rotate back into A. But those 2 kills in mid make this an entirely different story, and keoz is about to give one away. It's Synopsy, the MAC-10, the one low buy of the round that needs to pull it all off, and he doesn't have the timing. Hype set up perfectly and delivers as asked.
Not like they were all that
Full
wealthy in
control.
that regard, though.
I wonder if this is a read on the lacking presence there was in the previous round. Only one player there in the long side. Maybe they were looking or expecting more, and now they play against it. Arrow. Seems to be a free kill, and the trades aren't all that great for Into the Breach. Hype again is stepped up. Another double and a multi makes this their round to lose. Again, it's low HP to face aTTaX in a clutch. But this time, at least, you've got the AK, right? Some utility to support your cause. The bomb, not technically nearby enough. And I think because of that, aTTaX's going to reroute.
I was going to say that AK versus A1S first bullet accuracy of the AK-47 before that. He's got room to play with, but too fast, too quick. Knife out. It's clutch. He's got his gun out, looking to clear, but the wrong bend. He's not cautious about where aTTaX could.
Ooh. Quick pay from juanflatroo. And they got keoz backing him up. It's weird because it looks like they want to go in. They're taking space and pressure like they're going to, and keoz may give them a reason to finish there.
AK taps out one. Leaves the A site still interesting. Something that they have to go searching for answers about. They get what they wanted. They get that kill back. They get the 3v3. But even so, it's the Opper on the bottom side and the rifle on the left, and he's crossed him. I don't know if redstar knows, but he should know that B was clear as it were. It's the rotate back through and from the B site where redstar had cleaned that aTTaX wanted to join up with Freeze, but it's...
They've started these rounds so creatively, and to see all of them go so, not necessarily convincingly, but I like that they've essentially kept everybody alive and well. No bother going straight in, trying to find an entry, just burn them out on utility. You knew you had an upper hand somewhere, and I think they've found it. Now that the Molly has come through, it's one of the last pieces they have for defense, if not the last piece. I don't think Perks is going to come through before this exec does. But they'll certainly get the kills, especially when the behinds are sticking out of canals. And everything seems to go wrong in the late for Into the Breach. Smooya, redstar saving the day, and now they're hoping Synopsy can add to it.
Might be able to, should be able to. Turned back in for a moment where he gets his information gained, but redstar left the flush. An arrow just snaps back out from the pillar as his teammates kind of locked in towards E-Box. He needed to make something happen, but oh my lord. The round breathe a little bit. Has looked good in the mid stages of each of these rounds, but not exactly the finishers we would like for it to be, right? Now needing to put pen to paper and where these lurks are again finding Synopsy in a position that he could really be the difference, it's going to be so, as they may lose smooya on the entryway over towards A. It's juanflatroo between the smoke who's able to pull it right on back, but it's going to be a war of attrition into who will bend and break first, as it's not going to be a letting up from alternate attacks at all. It's juanflatroo with the bomb, and with a minute now they can cook up some of those plays. Now they can afford to take themselves in other directions if they so please. But again, putting a pause on things and then initiating could be what works out for them, as there's going to be a long rotation back. aTTaX stuck.
Do they know? That's the big kicker. keoz is the one unknown entity, and the kill will be free. Handed to him on a silver platter. aTTaX, and he snuck some suspicion in there that somebody was coming from A main. There's a world that keoz doesn't get it so one-handedly as he does, but this doesn't mean the round is over. They don't seem to suspect him coming around from A main just yet, and now it's a legitimate chance for Arrow, knowing where the last member is. redstar giving it away, no more anonymity, and another clutch falls the way of alternate attacks. A collapse again from into the breach.
It's got me beat. They've got keoz beat. They've got A main. That is a wild, wild decision from Perks.
What?
But honestly, they know that they just walk through mid every round. So, I mean, it's a calculated risk, at least.
And they know, look at this stack. They literally have everybody coming into the A site. The only issue, isolations everywhere. Freeze not yet cleared. In fact, they think this is all clear. So he just steps out from Cake and delivers 2 clotheslines to the remaining into the breach members. What do you do in the 1-on-5? Absolutely nothing. It's the exact same score. It's salt in the wound. And they just gotta roll with the punches now. This pistol could beat absolutely everything. Your only way back into a game like this, I feel like, starts here, and so far, well, it's not bad, but they've also given up a lot of space, and they're about to come waltzing straight into freeze again. He just had a round of himself. He wants to step up again. redstar and juanflatroo testing. Not yet passing, but I'd also say not yet failing either. A, though, it's kind of failed. They've given them at least the opportunity for a bomb plant, though quickly come back in to smother the flame that's come up and engulfed them. So it looks like alternate attacks won't be getting themselves a second pistol, and into the breach should have things under control.
Should. But I've seen things collapse like this before in freeze. He's already gotten 3. He's gonna run him down into the site, and you can't escape. Frozen in place as they all stand in awe of a freeze clutch in a 1v3 of 4K, and another round in a matter of split seconds. He turns it back.
So, the worst part about all this, about everything here, is that, again, if we're looking at history and basing this map off of that, the one round into the breach had on their last season.
It doesn't begin to look any better. No. Frankly, I'm out of there, too.
So Synopsy, but this time, not off a repeat. I guess technically. Shoulder shown, whatever. Whichever way you slice it, he ends up falling. Though redstar and juanflatroo picked up the pieces and the pace, flanking around. This is the bomb dropped. Freeze. How many can you take with you? Answer's 1. Now, you've got some legitimate cause for concern. smooya, though, counter-flanked. What is going on? Nobody can wrap their head around this one.
Flanker gets flanked. Hey, I didn't think that would go over as well as it did.
It's such an underrated bar, bro.
5 rounds of distance, looking to spread it even further beyond that as Perks' awareness. Perks' ears up as he hears the footsteps from the backside of B main, I think calmed by Hype. Hype.
Advantages. But smooya on the op, that's quite the hard penny to pinch. Unless you can maybe distract him. If Hype can start the train, or you make him miss a shot, pull eyes off the con. This is a big duel, though. And yeah, wishful thinking to say Hype wins that. When juanflatroo staring him down, good riddance. And maybe at this point you look for extra kills, but more likely than not, they're calling it off. Easy save given away. But you also can't be throwing away guns like this. They still have to be somewhat cautious. 3 kills they can't really afford to take, and Perks is just out of there.
3K with the pistol round in the first. Double kill with the Deeg, I remember. At least 3 rifle kills.
Oh!
Here is another boost.
That's a good one. honestly, it's better that he finds that second player, but it also still leaves this gap for aTTaX to walk up and almost double entry on him again. But the A1S, it's got its limits. The bullets are one of them. That's exactly what Arrow uses to walk straight in. Almost undefended. keoz, no match for him. And now again, it's a 3-on-3, a retake, but better than what their previous ones have looked like. And they can't really keep eyes on Synopsy. They've got one player pinned out. Actually, two of them are coming around from mid. This feels improbable hype. No way you're getting back into there, and they know Freeze is coming in from mid. All right, great looking retake.
It's more like it.
Then I got in another pug with Micro T, if you know him, Micro.
Okay.
And he got a 1v4 clutch on the last round of a 16-4 stomp in a new pug.
Yeah.
I said, can I cast your clutch? And he said, sure.
Oh.
It was like,
Cast
I
this
want to
clutch.
say like 3,000 likes or something. Like a couple hundred views. You know.
Cast this clutch.
I'll save it for the Score Esports video. Redstar. No up this time. It's the Emporium.
Whoa!
Insight.
Oh yeah, there
And
was
Micro.
and micro. No, that's the end of that number one. It's a little bit of a recount.
Hey, I'm all for new things. But again, when it comes to good ideas, they don't actually go a long way. It feels like Into the Breach are masterminds in that regard, but kills aren't actually following up. smooya taking a long time to develop here and giving time for the dualies to reload. I'm surprised they give that much respect to them. But for now, also, by the way, I think the hood is backwards. Had me by surprise there for a moment. I did not know smooya went to alternate attacks, but they will end up shifting into the A site, which currently houses no inhabitants. It's just Freeze trying to answer back in mid, and again, so he does. Pistol Mastermind himself puts them into another advantage, and it doesn't even look like they'll walk away with this one. 0 for 3 on pistols are ITB.
Cinematic.
Oh,
history
sue me
being
for
made
using
right
a
there.
different word to describe a movie.
This
Sorry.
film is.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay.
Wow, how are you winning that duel? Arrow
Really?
against Redstar with an MP9.
That's a little wild. Say a little. A big bonus. They can close it. And all this utility they still have, Anthran, this is big. 2 mollies. There goes 1 to default. Flashbang over the left side along. No fight going in that direction, at least not favorable for Into the Breach. They're actually lined up somehow. Oh no. Disaster strikes. A stage where Into the Breach can take such liberties. Hopefully when somebody just gives them an inch. Synopsy looking to be that opener, to crack things open and about. A nade in front of the smoke should make enough of a gap to where he can clear. And he's cleared the site. Maybe I gave him not enough in the way of Regency. They've gotten 3 kills to nothing for the CT hole in that direction, but the lineup from Perks. There's ways back into this site. It's not going to be easy. That nade makes it even less so, but one sent right back. It's a juanflatroo and redstar double swing, one after another, and they've done it.
Ah, man, I don't know how fond I am of that because they had a molly.
Sit behind the smoke strat, could work, but only about half blinded is the SMG right in front of their faces. Is another smoke going to be deployed, and Freeze has the easiest job in the world. It's
What Into the Breach do? It seems rather one-dimensional, but getting away with one. aTTaX is only legged, walking wounded, but Arrow takes a way worse blow. Was that a no-scope? It didn't look like he was scoped in.
could fool me. Late boost here, though. Red well by hyped. Very well by hyped, and he knows there's more, and he's gonna sink another nade. Bam! It's right on top. Everyone feeling a little bit low, under the weather, and now under the ground, as Synopsy, with everything to do, the captain to the clutch and opener in the round that they had won, and now needing to go 1 beyond that, make it 2. If he wants a second, a smoke to lurk out, full HP, and utility enough to set up and make it believable, as Hype is forced out of position and out into the open. It's an ace for him on the line as well, but Synopsy looking to reroute.
I don't think he cares what it is on the line for him. I just want him. I think for them, they want the round. And aTTaX, I doubt he fully commits to this duel. It's just a jiggle. Nothing more, nothing less. That's big. Hyped. Splitting the bill. You know one's leg. That's a guarantee. It's told. It screams to you by...
If there is going to be a silver lining to this, there's going to be an alternate attacks regression at the bottom of the B steps, in which juanflatroo and redstar might have the drop on.
I don't know how much of a ace in the hole this is, though. Right? Because...
redstar knows one went to the door.
You know it, but what can you do about it in the time? You don't have a lot of time here. Losing a player like smooya hurts, and they now know, at least Freeze caught wind of redstar, just didn't register it in time. 30 seconds to go. Foot has to be on the gas, and I'm surprised these rotations aren't a little more hectic, aren't a little more sporadic. They've got to get players over to this site. They're running out of time to actually defend it. With 20 seconds to go, if you put 2 extra players here and drop the bomb, kind of like that, then all of a sudden, this round could be yours. But hell, you might not even need vision and rotations. Arrow, a double through the smoke. Don't you dare tell me you have another to add. He doesn't. But it's still a round that we shouldn't be discussing for Into the Breach just quite yet. The flank moving in from Temple, and that's what they're waiting for, rather, from Cave.
Oh, no.
But now aTTaX dropped, and it becomes a lot more one-dimensional. Trades required. Arrow delivers, and Perks is behind him.
One more fight to go their way into the breach, and there's a real way back into that round. They were both at a crossfire of sorts, more like back-to-back, to where they could have played off of one another really well. Ending with the Galil and a MAC-10, the AKs still doing their work, but at the bottom side of mid, isolated is the captain.
Oh my god, and there's not even a trade potential there either. Well, that molly, oh my god, tell me that just barely landed too far. It did. They think it's all clear. They're gonna swing off of that. Almost a double. No way you get away from this, aTTaX. Are you kidding? They still want the trade. smooya, desperate, sprints in with the Glock. And now the lone man in a 1v4. Ace clutch needed. If any weapon to do it, it's an op. But first things first, gotta break through one of the hardest crossfires, arguably, in the game. Well, not when they split up like this, but still low HP doesn't do you any favors, and walking straight into Perks ain't gonna do you one either. This is completely uncharted waters for Into the Breach. Freeze, gotta be careful. Don't know how close they are, but he catches wind early and isolates tools. Love this. For a moment, I thought he was just going to wait for aTTaX to regroup, but then he just peeks in, shoulder out, knowing somebody could be in house. So he leaves a lot of the responsibility on aTTaX and Hype to try and contain this breach. I mean, they've got an op, right? Not impossible. They're going to blow open this smoke. 2 players vulnerable to this. Great peek from Arrow and great spot of the third. It's another 1v1 that could honestly dictate this round. Uh-oh.
Crazy scene. Trying to make this work from the back is Synopsy. We've seen him in positions like that in map previous, but redstar catches him on the jump, on the sprint back towards him, trying to catch him on his rotation into the site for the plant, but it won't happen. Still a 1v1 doable for Perks, but options made limited as to where he can come from. It's post-plant timing for Synopsy, and well-adjusted spray. A burst onto the head of the player he had spotted onto the cross.
Potential for a nade in that CT smoke does cost them, but it's not afforded the round for ultimate attacks, so there's something to be had there. Though, don't know how much I'm on board with that. Synopsy. Oh my god! I thought that was just on the mark for a headshot, but no, and they just, what is going on? Okay, there's so much to break down because somebody just walked through the mid-smoke and no idea that somebody's in spawn. Oh my god.
Bottom mid spray doesn't quite hit. Keoz gets a second chance at life. What will he do with that? Well,
nothing.
He's going to need to do a lot with it because he's the only one left standing now. 2 lives is all they had in the server.
The worst part about this is that they know the bomb is in mid too. So, it's not even like keoz can sneak around.
I said it before, I'll say it again. Womp womp. No secret game to be played.
What? I saw the vision. Don't worry. I wasn't
Now,
gonna say it.
going flawless would be big.
No, this is alternate attacks. Are you stupid? Alright, well, I think the pistol's still a formality at this point. Perks. Only the one as they go for a house push. Again, it looked good at the start, but into the breach. Very good containment. Knowing that mid was left open, knowing how to counter it, knowing how to stop them from moving up. And now hesitation litters the field for alternate attacks. You don't really know where they want to take this just yet. Maybe that kill could lure them in.
Good. closer to this A site now, where smooya's been playing a delayed game the whole way through. I love that position. I play it so often, and it works more often than you'd think. Actually, they don't have a utility at all right now into the breach, so retake's going to have to just be in sheer numbers. So one smoke to deny vision could be something to work with, but Perks now tosses it out at the wrong time.
They got
Goodbye.
one!
Yippee!
Yippee!
Whoa, that was...
They're going to test keoz, and there's not a lot to stop them. So, as you said, no utility plays its role, and it's not a very good one, at least for them. They need to deal with the player in CT. In fact, there's so many players they need to worry about right now. juanflatroo, another, but gets away with one, slips by, as they can maybe muster a plant here. I think at least forfeiting that up kills could change the story, too. Remember, I'll never count these AKs out. Look at a double swing in CT. Oh my god, he's them both high! He's just won the round himself! Said, why not?
Can't believe how many times they just turn this back into the breach. It's the same problems. It's this, what, 20 seconds, Anthran, that it feels like they have the right space, they have the right place.
Yeah.
And here it is, another opener.
I love the idea at the start. It's
very
great.
well done.
They take full mid control, get the opening pick, and they just back away. I love it. Hell, they barely even invest any of their utility, too. You gotta remember, this is a buyback. They don't have a lot.
And that's a really nice off angle from juanflatroo, just the same. He found them that quick pick, and then peeling back in towards house, he's gotten that one. But a timing from Hype to actually walk past this smoke, maybe? No, he's just going to try and catch them on a shot. And maybe the right call, but, you know, I wouldn't have been pissed to see him go through. Would have worked out.
This is kind of a circumstance where, you know, you're 3 on 5. I guess, to be fair, you're going to know they have a lacking belt of utility. So as time goes on, you should have an advantage there. But again, when you get in these big deficits, that's kind of where you make these hero plays. Interesting nade that missed, by the way. I like the idea, though. I remember experimenting those back when this map came out. I miss the old AG. I'm not going into that.
I knew you were going to do it. I literally felt it as soon as you, like, the first word left his mouth. Oh, what a walkthrough. Oh, from into the breach. That actually could have ended much worse, but
yeah,
they keep
2
it
kills
in.
ain't bad.
It's not bad. That you have to make very quickly, though, with your alternate attack. So I like to see that they try and flood into A as best they can to find another. Not always how it'll work out to be, but up towards shelf side flash for them to fight. There's a Molotov between, and juanflatroo's got to join keoz, who's blinded, cornered, cleared, killed, and still not losing out on these numbers. Our alternate attacks for much longer, but for the trades are out in kind. It's hyped with a double. The rifle is all he'll need. Up, not needed.
redstar gotta find something here. He knows Free's still lurking around that corner. He has an idea. Maybe that kill on Hype encourages him to swing out. And a big resurgence in the mid-round this time from into the breach. A rarity, we've seen this, but if any time to show it, it's now. But there is still some counter utility to worry about before you attempt your retake. This might not be all that bad just yet. 1 full belt combined between the 2 of them, but Perks is looking to counterflank, or at least I thought for now, just parking it in cave. I imagine eventually he's going to clue into maybe somebody sneaking around from ramp, but they've already gotten past him, so little do they know. Into the breach, they're into the site.
Oh, that's bad. Smoke to the bomb is really bad. I think that the ramp player is going to have to start to get a move on in a moment or two, knowing that they're on top of it, thinking, not reading onto the mini-map, though. The smoke, and they do get the round, as he will have vision from ramp, although Arrow may not. There it goes. I rather like Into the Breach if you were watching from the beginning of the pre-show. If you were watching,
you know what? I really gotta stop.
They would have known. There were actually fans, but all good.
He a fan, he a fan, he a
fan. He's dropping 1 through CT spawn as his teammate in cave had dropped out, and smooya with the off, trying to make the difference, and honest and truthfully, trying to make the difference in that position with Molly's raining atop of you. Never going to be an easy feat, but swing out from a deeper smoke than needed to be. Got them what they needed, but the mouse one hold down from outside of Brokey gets them even more beyond that, but the rotation back, it's juanflatroo's not even yet made his way to donut side before they've all flooded in. Into the breach, simply unable to convert. It's going to come back to bite them. I honestly do think this will be a good demo for them to go back to watch. Probably a lot in terms of team cohesion for them to reflect on. Because everything else otherwise can be sung the praises of. They have players
Ooh,
coming
they
online
really
and
want
playing
this.
it out well, but they do. And Ozix, SMG, keeps that cave clean. And now a re-aggro through mid into the
Oh,
breach and a
no.
unified
Oh, no.
effort walking it down. But they might be walking into their doom. But a great flashbang, well enough placed. But from shelf side, so too are the rest ready.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, you needed something to go your way. Just didn't. A lot of this game can come down to that. But at the same time, this is one of the more winnable, like, blowouts I've seen. It's really hard to describe, but...
Its scoreline doesn't tell the full story type thing.
Yeah, like, so many of these rounds into the breach, they had really creative approaches to getting openers, to getting map control. I do think they were a bit too spearheaded on that T side. You mentioned how lacking the presence was outside of B ramp, but even on Anubis, like, it felt creative. It felt like they were always destined for a first pick. Just never came through in the end. And alternate attacks on this day, after the opening parts of rounds, they were the better team. In the mid rounds, in the late rounds, in trading, in stopping hero plays, that's where alternate attacks made their money today.
Frankly, dude, it's a learning experience. It's a lot to look back on and reflect. I think that this team is gonna have time enough to do that anyways. You know, the integration of Redstar not really being all that long ago. There's still always going to be kinks.